Hi, welcome to our channel. Now, most of the research methodology and similar kind of research orientation trainings start spot on directly explaining what is research, why you should do research, and what kind of research methods exist. One of the core concepts that nobody usually talks about is what would this understanding of research methods or research per se make you? Like, what kind of career should you look for? Now, if you see, people eventually end up in some kind of apex research if they follow this track full on. Now, what kind of research profile they build for themselves? This has been a sort of debate, like can researchers be classified? And that's the context of this particular short video that we'll make. Now, let's look at what kind of research activity one would do. Say, research usually hovers around knowledge or its application. And this is where most of our research credibility these days is determined. So, for example, with patents or translation. And here, if you look, this is more like knowledge generation. So, basic science stuff, basic science, pure research. If we see that convert everything which is applicable as technology, say it's about technology, okay. If you work on something that is existing knowledge, to improve existing knowledge or to improve existing technology. So basically, most people work in these two realms. If you work on improving existing knowledge, that means you are constantly generating new knowledge, then very likely you'll end up in generating new pure knowledge or pure knowledge, sort of invention. It's either invention, discovery, sort of. Whatever you call, this is theory. Direct application of this kind of theory is tough. Still, it's a theory. Now, if you look at existing technology, if you keep on working on existing technology, it will definitely improve and it will become more and more evolved. So it is evolved application. You may or may not need this technology, but this technology has evolved. For example, you have a robot which can walk on Mars. Good enough. Now, what if we start working on both these domains together and we try to solve a genuine problem? That means we become more and more user-centric or say human-centric. That means you are using existing knowledge and developing this knowledge in a way that solves a problem. Similarly, you are improving the existing technology in a way that again solves a problem. So this actually leads you to a position where you have better theory and more evolved technology, which is again usable. So that's your aha moment. Now, can we actually classify researchers into these 4 or 5 types? Let's again look at it from a different perspective. Say we are operating on this particular range. One is pure knowledge. Another is, for example, we are plotting again the purpose of research on a plane. So it's a pure knowledge generating research or it's a pure application oriented research. So what happens here is, say we plot different types of researchers on this. So we'll find a wave of researchers who would be here and another wave of researchers who would be here. So what really happens is this group of researchers is going on a quest for knowledge. So they are more into the publications, high impact publications, getting rewarded, awarded, recognitions, Nobel Prize and all. Basic science researchers. So I'd say that this is basic research. Say this is the type of research here who are more like application oriented. Engineers, the type of research that engineers would do. They are more about filing patents, making market ready products, marketing them, those kind of stuff. So here you have more like practical researchers. So these are absolutely product oriented. Practical researchers. Okay. That means the methods are quite well, the path of research is quite well known, everyone is exploring those directions, but they want to make the product more application driven. Now, what if we have a group of researchers, which is again in short supply, that combines both? These are strategic researchers. For example, during COVID, we came up with a vaccine, it's already a problem. That was pure science and again application based. Strategic research. Now, even if this one looks very attractive, it's like working in a lab in isolation or maybe in a group and constantly working on different types of experiments and trying to develop new knowledge, very much knowledge driven. Here you have very much market driven. Here you have someone who is taking care of the marketable product as well as knowledge. So we want to be in this quadrant of research, which is again difficult. Now let's look at this particular thing in a more evolved quadrant arrangement. So what really happened is in 1997, a person called Donald Stokes came up with the different planes of research, and that again has evolved into a quadrant. I'll plot a quadrant for you, and let's see where exactly we're fitting. Say you have an axis here which is on application. So this is pure application. And here on the y-axis you have yet another line. This is pure knowledge. Let us make it dichotomous. Now let us say someone lies in this quadrant over here. That means this person is absolutely committed to the quest of new knowledge and not much bother with its application. So the type of research that Einstein had done, the type of research that Niels Bohr did with his discovery of atom, or even Marie Curie, those kind of research gets you a Nobel Prize, but it's pure knowledge which is not yet ready for application. So we'll call it as your Bohr's quadrant. To be able to do this kind of research, you need to be, let us call it as a genius, but of course this is a genius who is obsessed with knowledge, and you need good lab support, good team to be able to do this kind of research. Now let us see, if you are absolutely application driven, then here you have Thomas Alva Edison, and we know how many patents and how many inventions Edison did. This kind of research does not really further our understanding of things, of problems, but of course they are more solution oriented, and they are commercial productable outcomes. So you can actually market these products, but then very incremental knowledge gain. So you do not have massive quantum leaps in terms of knowledge, but of course you have a product which is again almost on the angle of becoming very popular. Now, there is this quadrant where we find some people, there is this quadrant where we want everyone to move into, which is high on knowledge and high on application. And we call it as the Pasteur's quadrant. We know that Louis Pasteur was into the vaccines and all. So he developed things which were of massive human benefit, but then a massive jump for humanity as well in terms of knowledge. So Pasteur's quadrant, which solves, these are disruptive kind of research which solve real world difficult problems. Not many people manage to get in here, but this is a quadrant where high-end research and memorable research is done. Has massive benefit to mankind. But what really happens is, most of us actually struggle in this particular quadrant, this one, and we call this quadrant as the Peterson's quadrant. So we do research which is neither a massive gain in knowledge, does not generate a theory, and is neither application oriented. I call it as the tinkering research. Bulk of research and researchers qualify in this particular group. What really happens is, you do a research which has very limited use. You do a KP study, you do a situation analysis, you do a prevalence study, or even an analytical study. Other variants are also there in basic science as well. Those research do not add anywhere much. But you keep on working in this domain repeatedly, and you never know, with each iteration, with each effort, you may get better at it. So your first research may not be great. Subsequent researchers may improve upon that. Gradually, you may move in some direction. Now, why we call it Peterson? Like, we have full regards for Peterson, but what he did is, he went around clicking different types of birds and then characterizing them into different categories, describing different types of birds. So nobody knew about the bird kingdom then, as much as he could decipher. So that was definitely new knowledge was generating, but not much of theory, and that wasn't of much use either. So that was in the tinkerer's camp. Now, any country which wants to promote research must invest its resources here, because this is where most researchers begin. So when you're starting to learn about research methods, you're starting to do some kind of research, small scale research, consider yourself in this Peterson's quadrant. But ensure that you do not waste your entire life working in this quadrant. Try to move in some direction. This way, more application, implementation science. This way, if you go this way, maybe you'll be able to draft new theoretical textbooks, chapters, or even better, if you could move all the way. This is the way. Thank you.